Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yes, Dandavat Pranam.
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna
Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu,
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna
Pranam.
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Okay, we'll get started. Veda base. Let me start something for you. Proper prayers. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sagitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gauravakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupaswarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktyakam Namami Bhakti Shaktikam. Okay, so how are you all doing?
Good, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Good Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Okay, so we'll read 3 dot. Okay, so we'll begin with some sort of Prabhupada Katha today. Speak this. Okay. This is a verse I want to teach today. It's a very beautiful verse, very attractive also. Try to read this verse. So is this verse screen visible?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, good. So now what shall we do is we'll just read this verse and we'll narrate a story. Then we'll go into the detail of this verse. Okay. So this is from Canto 3, chapter 9, text 11. Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavita hrit saroja ashe shrutakshete shrutakshita pato nanunata pumsam yadyaddiya ta urgaya vibhavayanti tad vapuhu pranayesa sat anugrahaya. Look at the meaning of this verse. Tvam, on to you. Bhakti yoga in devotion service. paribhavita, being 100% engaged, hrit of the heart, saroje of the lotus feet, ase to reside, shruta ikshita, seen through the ear, pataha the path, nanu now, nata O my Lord, pumsam of the devotees, yat yat whichever, diya by meditating, te your, urugaya O multi-glorious, vibhavayanti, they specifically think of, tat tat, the very same, vapuhu, transcendental form, pranaya say, do you manifest sat anugrahaya, to show your causeless mercy. Let's read the translation. O my Lord, your devotees can see you through the years by the process of bona fide hearing, and thus their heart becomes cleansed. And you take your seat there. That means Krishna enters the heart of the devotees. You are so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in the particular eternal form of transcendence in which they always think of you. Okay. So we'll see, deep dive into this now. So Prabhupada narrated this story, very beautiful story. So once there was a Bhagavat preacher. Okay. There was this Bhagavat preacher, and then he used to narrate Srimad Bhagavatam very beautifully. And his narrations were so attractive. And he's a bona fide preacher. He's a bona fide preacher. So one day he narrated a particular pastime, especially this sloka he narrated. And he told that Krishna in Vrindavan, as a small boy, every day will go to the forest. And what's the purpose of going to the forest? Graze the cows, give association to the gopis, Gopakumaras, and perform amorous pastimes. So one day while performing this pastime, the Bhagavat preacher narrated that Mother Yashoda will decorate Krishna so beautifully. Okay? While decorating him beautifully, he'll also wear a lot of jewels on Krishna. And so Krishna was so attractive. And that's how, this Bhagavat preacher narrated Krishna. So there was a thief who, was a passerby, and then he stood saying that every day some class is going on. Let's see what class is going on. Let me hear. So this thief heard the narration of Krishna's form and the narration of the fact that Yashoda Mai would decorate Krishna with so much of jewels, mukut, nice ornaments like bracelets, like kankan, all those things she narrated. And when he heard that from the Bhagavat preacher, he became very, saying, oh, what an opportunity to steal. And how come we are missing all these things? So immediately he put a plan. Somehow I want to meet this boy and steal all these jewels from him. That's the plan he put. And what he did, he started to hear this verse. And what does this verse say? This verse says, whoever has the desire to think of Krishna. So what he did, is it? Then he kept on thinking, how do I see this boy? How do I see this boy, blue boy? How do I see this boy in this one? And then he finally got the clue that he has to go to Vrindavan. So he went to Vrindavan and he kept thinking so intensely, how do I see this boy? How do I see this boy? Because of his so intense thinking, Krishna manifested for him. Now look at it. He's not a devotee, he's a thief. Krishna manifested. And how did he manifest? Actually, if you see, if you read Bhagavatam very clearly, Krishna was just a cowherd boy. Okay. Mother Yashoda never dressed him with a lot of jewels while he goes to the forest for cowherding. But this man imagined that Krishna is, because he heard Mother Yashoda dresses him with jewels, He heard that he will be with jewels. So because he thought Krishna, a blue-colored boy with a flute and a peacock feather on his head, with lots of jewels, Krishna manifested in front of him in Vrindavan with all those jewels and ornaments as he was meditating. Then he saw Krishna, he was stunned. He was stunned by his beauty. He was stunned by all those jewels that he was wearing. He said, it is real. Now I can steal, right? Moment he touched the Lord, and he told that boy, can I take these jewels if you're friends? Krishna said, yes, you can take. Moment he touched that jewel, the touch of it, his association with the Lord, immediately got purified, completely purified. And his heart did not allow him to take the jewel out of Krishna. He surrendered that very same day and became one of the greatest devotees, right? So this is what the story Prabhupada narrated. Now, what is the learning out of the story? The learning out of the story is, if we want to see Krishna, each of us have a particular bhava in our heart. That is our imagination, or a form of the Lord that attracts us, or a form of the Lord that we want to take association with. So we start to meditate on that form of the Lord because we got attracted to it. Okay. So when we take association of that form of the Lord and keep meditating on that, then that form of the Lord will manifest in our lifetime. And that's the promise Lord gives. If Krishna can do this for a non-devotee, a thief, why do you think Krishna won't do this for a devotee? And that's the point here. So hence, if you look at this sloka, it beautifully narrates. Look at this, it says, Ase Shrute Kshita Pato. Now, what is Ase Shrute Kshita Pato? Look at this meaning here. Okay, here below. Ase is you reside. Okay, how do you reside? Where do you reside is the question now. Then Shruta Ikshita. So Shruta means to hear. Okay. So Ikshita means is to see the Lord through your ears. Now, how do you see the Lord through your ears? Is by hearing about the Lord again and again, again and again, again and again. Right? So, for example, when the two woodcutters, they spoke about the form of the Lord when he was coming from the forest. Sukadeva Goswami, he heard that. What happened to him? Once he heard, he was meditating on that verse again and again. Oh, is Krishna like this? Oh, Krishna comes with a pitambar dress. Oh, Krishna comes with Vaijanti Mala. Oh, Krishna looks like this. Oh, Krishna's body is huge, grayish, black. Is that he is how he looks like? He meditated so much on that form that he transformed from an impersonal thought to completely personal. He went back home, back to Vyasadev's house to sit and learn Srimad Bhagavatam. See, that is the beauty. So that's the beauty of Ase Shrutak Ikshita Pataha, that path. That means this path here refers to whoever takes the process of hearing about the Lord on a regular basis, here and here and here, then what happens? That form of the Lord, wherever his consciousness is traveling towards, will reside in the heart of the devotee. That's the meaning of this. Now, so this is the first most important thing. Now let's look at yad yad diyata urugaya. Let's say what is yad yad. Yat yat here, whichever, diya, by meditating, your, urugaya, oh multi-glorious, vibhavayanti, they specifically think of. So for example, whichever form that they are thinking of. For example, some may get attracted to the Damodar form of the Lord. Some may get attracted to the Parasarthi form of the Lord. Some may get attracted to the Vikrama form of the Lord. Some may get attracted to Narsimha form of the Lord. Whichever form of the Lord that they get attracted to, that form of the Lord will manifest in that heart of the devotee who's constantly hearing, meditating on that Lord. Okay. Now let's look at this last line. Tat tat vapuhu pranayashe. Now, tat is the same form that we meditated, we thought about, we manifested in our heart. Vapuhu, transcendental form. Pranaya say, do you manifest to show your causeless mercy? So that's what the sloka refers to. So it's very important to hear the form of the Lord. to hear and appreciate that form of the Lord. What is the proof? Will this really happen? Yes, it happened in the pastime of Dhruva Maharaj. When Dhruva Maharaj started his meditation, he meditated under the guidance of Narada Muni. What did Narada talk about? Narada talked about a particular form of the Lord, Sheshashayi Vishnu. He meditated on the Sheshashayi Vishnu form of the Lord. Exactly the same form of the Lord manifested in front of him at the time when he completed his Bhakti Yoga practices. See, proof. Narasimha manifested the same form of the Lord that Prahlad Maharaj talked about with his father Hiranyakashipu. Same form. Narasimha, he manifested. So we have enough proof from Srimad Bhagavatam that whatever we think, whatever we meditate, the same form of the Lord will manifest. But how do you do that? You have to do it with great devotion. Ase shrutakshita pato. So that is the way we do meditation. When we meditate, by constantly hearing about the activities and pastimes of the Lord. Okay, how do we hear? So what does hearing refers to? Hearing refers to two aspects. The first, you hear from devotees who are exalted personalities. Hear from such personalities. Then there's an opportunity for manifestation. Okay, so that's the first thing. Second thing, you constantly read about that Lord, about the Lord's activities, about the Lord's associates. Then what happens? The combination of reading and hearing together is what is Shrutakshita. That will help you to manifest that form of the Lord. Why? Because whenever we read a book, you can actually imagine, you can actually see for yourself that personality, that character, that description that is there in the book is actually manifesting in front of you. Even for example, when you read a horror novel, why you get scared is because that form of that horrified form is actually coming in front of you or in manifesting in the heart. Because manifesting in the heart, you get scared and you sweat. And what happens? You close the book, you sleep, you get the dreams. See, the impact is so powerful. So similarly, when we also meditate on that form of the Lord with great love and devotion, that form of the Lord will manifest in the heart. And that is your true devotion. And that's your success. Right? So that's why this sloka is so attractive and it really touches the heart of every individual. Okay? Any thoughts, questions, or any realizations that you want to share here?
Very nice sloka, Prabhu, to realize whatever we read in after classes, it will certainly manifest in our heart.
Okay, so now we will read this. This is a very nice expression by Srila Prabhupada. You can also read at home, but I'll just read it for the benefit of everyone. The statement here that the Lord manifests himself before the devotee in the form in which the devotee likes to worship him indicates that the Lord becomes subordinate to the desire of the devotee. Devotee's desire, Lord says, yes, I'll make it sure it happens. So much so that he manifests his particular form as a devotee demands. So that's why it is said, don't read novels which are satanic in nature. Don't read novels that are lusty in nature. Don't read novels that are completely materialistic in nature, because those are the forms that will manifest in your heart. Okay. If you read novels that are connected to Krishna, that is what will manifest. So read Krishna book. There's so many books that our acharyas have written, which talks about special ras that happens in Golok. So you should read such books and make that in your heart. Okay. This demand of the devotee is satisfied the Lord because he is pliable in terms of transcendental loving service of the devotee. This is also confirmed in the Gita 4.11. Ye yata mam prapatyante tams tataiva bhajamiham. This sloka tells that I reciprocate. That reciprocate is the key. We should note that, however, that the Lord is never the order supplier of the devotee. Here in this verse, it is particularly mentioned, Tvam Bhakti Yoga Paribhavita. This indicates the efficiency achieved through execution of mature devotion service or prema or love of Godhead. This state of prema is achieved by the gradual process of development from faith to love. On faith, one associates with bona fide devotees, and by such association, one can be engaged in bona fide devotion service, which includes proper initiation and execution of primary devotional duties prescribed in the revealed scriptures. This is clearly indicated herein by the word Shrutekshita. The Shrutekshita path is to hear from bona fide devotees who are conversant with Vedic wisdom, free from mundane sentiment. By this bona fide hearing, the neophyte devotee becomes cleansed of all material rubbish, and thus he becomes attached to one of the many transcendental forms of the Lord described in the Vedas. Okay, so that's why you see the transcendental forms, the avatars of the Lord, are infinite, unlimited. So we also have sloka from Srimad, from Brahma Samhita. Which sloka from Brahma Samhita reciprocates with this? Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti. So what is Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti? It says the love. Whoever loves Govinda, the primeval Lord, with bhakti, anointment of bhakti in the heart, the Lord gives the devotion of his form manifested in that form in his heart, and that is because of pure devotion. Brahma Samhita, it is there. So we have enough proofs about what is being talked about in this sloka. So one can try to mug up the sloka also, very beautiful sloka, and you can use this for preaching also. 3.9.11. Okay, so now let's go back to our reading, if you don't have any questions. Okay, so today will be the last class of Canto 2. I hope we've done our best in learning the Canto 2, and hopefully we've cleared all the doubts that we had with respect to Canto 2. And from tomorrow, that is next class onwards, we'll start Canto 3. And we will take new registrations. People want to join, they can join Canto 3. Okay. Text 10.42. Sa yevedam jagadhatha Bhagavan dharma rupatrik pushnati stapayan Vishwam Tiryan Nara Suradibihi.
Now screen changed to go.
Oh, I didn't change the screen. I'm sorry. Okay. Is it okay now?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Okay, let me repeat this sloka 10.42. Sa yevedam jagadata Bhagavan dharma rupadarik pushnati stapayan vishwam tiryan nara suradibihi. He, the personality of Godhead, as a maintainer of all in the universe, appears in different incarnation after establishing the creation, and thus he reclaims all kind of conditions also among the humans, the non-humans, and the demigod. Right? So the different incarnations are the key here. So after creation, Brahmaji, we talked about creation aspect in the last few slokas, how Lord takes the position of Brahmaji. Now the maintenance. See, one important thing you have to understand is the creation is a more passionate activity, and it's a one-time activity. You create, that's all. Okay. Then destruction is more of an ignorance activity, mode of ignorance, because it's anger, it's about destroying things. So it's about, that's why it's more of ignorance. And it's also one-time activity. You manifest fire, you destroy, that's all. Now, the maintenance, that means the portion of time between creation and destruction, is the most important aspect. It is the longest aspect, and it has to be very, very stable, right? Why it has to be very stable? So in the process of maintenance, which spanning for the entire duration of that time period of a particular solar system, what happens is there will be many, many events that will happen, right? So for example, in Satyuga, if you look at it, many great events happen because of two personalities, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, right? So we'll not delve into the details of those activities, but what happened, they caused so much of tension among the people, among the demigods, among the entire, the nature. Lord had to tolerate and slowly get the situation back to normalcy. So it is not just once, many, many such events continuously happen. That means, if you look at it, the maintenance portion is full of tribulations and full of variations. So the Lord has a great role in constantly maintaining them with purity. So that's why Vishnu himself takes possession of that role. That's why creation is Brahmaji and Vishnu is maintenance and Shiva is destruction. So that's what you have to understand. Okay. Now, the personality of Godhead is a maintainer of volume, appears in different incarnation after establishing the creation. Now, what does he do? Now, creation is done. That means all the living entities, the jivas, they got their respective bodies. They're all created in different forms according to their past deeds. Some are the point of plants and trees. Some of them the point of reptiles, birds, mammals, human beings. Different forms they've all taken. Now, what's the purpose of creation? Is to reclaim. Reclaim means to take them back to Godhead. So what Lord does, according to time, place, circumstances, the Lord comes in a particular form. When he comes in a particular form, he performs a wonderful pastime. And when he performs a wonderful pastime, many, many personalities, okay, what they do, they get attracted, they see it, they touch the Lord, they associate with the Lord, and it's a chance becomes they go back home, back to God. So that's how the Lord does. And that's the purpose of the whole pastimes of different avatars. Okay. Here we'll read from this portion. We'll read this portion. And can someone come forward to read? People who don't take turns, they should take turns. That way everyone gets turns to read. Reading is so important.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
Conceptions of the material world, such as good and bad, lower and upper, important and insignificant, are estimations of material energy, and the Supreme Lord is transcendental to all such conceptions. The word Param Bhavam, or transcendental nature, can never be compared to the material conception. We should not forget that the potencies of the Almighty Lord are always the same and do not decrease, because the Lord assumes the form of a lower animal. There is no difference between Lord Sri Rama, Lord Sri Krishna, and his incarnations as a fish and a hog. He is all-pervading and simultaneously localized at any and every place. But the foolish person with a poor fund of knowledge, for want of that Param Bhavam of the Lord, cannot understand how the Supreme Lord can take the form of a man or a fish. One compares everything to one's own standard of knowledge, as the frog in the well considers the sea to be like the well. The frog in the well cannot even think of the sea. And when such a frog is informed of the greatness of the sea, it takes the conception of the sea as being a little greater than the well. As such, one who is foolish about the transcendental science of the Lord will find it difficult to understand how Lord Vishnu can equally manifest himself in every society of living entities. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, avajananti mamoda manusham tanum ashritam. Right? So, people who are foolish, they cannot understand these spiritual concepts. They cannot understand these truths which are hidden and not visible to our eyes. And hence they make their own concoction and they conclude that as a fact. And because they're sitting in authority and position, they take the people into that same path of ignorance and cause devastation. Once Sachanda Maharaj, he went around the world. He said, I want to go around seeing the world. What is it that is different in this world? So he traveled to the extreme north. He traveled to the extreme south. He went around the globe, various countries, this one. So what he saw was that there is a magnificent creations. For example, if you go to the north, especially the Baltic regions, you go to the Scottish regions, or you go to the extreme south like New Zealand and things like that. You see, what are we see, no? These mountains and landscapes and great rivers and waterfalls, things that are extremely phenomenal there. But you will not see something like that in the tropical regions, that is, regions around the equator and things like that. So he said, this is variegated creation of the Lord. Okay. Then he saw people. He saw variety of people having variety of habits. Okay. Wherever he traveled. For example, you go to the African region, the form, the looks, and things of the people changed. But he went to the Western countries, he saw the form, looks of the people change. When he came to the Asian country region, he saw the forms, look, and people change. But except that forms and things like what, it's all human beings, it's all same. Now, why they're different? Because of change in civilization, change in climatic conditions. But otherwise, the base phenomenon of human being continues to be same. So, what he concludes in his writing in his book is, he says that there is enough variegatedness when you travel throughout this world, but it is just the variety of the creation of the Lord. Okay, but all of them, they point to only one source. That means there's an almighty creator, and he performs various pastimes under various time zones and conditions. It is just that we don't have Parambhavam, the transcendental nature, in order to see that. Because we don't have that nature, we don't see or appreciate the glories of the Lord. And hence, one, if he takes the path that given by Srila Prabhupada, right, he can see the transcendental nature of the Lord. He can understand this. Now, you can reflect for yourself. Before you came to ISKCON, get associated with Srimad Bhagavatam, what was your thought process? Have you ever imagined things like that exist? No, we never imagined. But after coming and taking association with Srimad Bhagavatam, we can understand the depth of Ramayana, the depth of various pastimes and entourage of the Lord. We've never imagined. So that's the beauty. Okay, so let's look at Sloka 1043. Tataka kalagni rudratma yat shrishtam idam atmanah sanniyachatti tatkale gananikam ivanilaha. Therefore, at the end of the millennium, so now Lord talked about creation, then Lord talked about maintenance, then he talks about destruction at the end of the millennium. The Lord himself, in the form of Rudra, the destroyer, will annihilate the complete creation as wind displaces the clouds. So now what happened, you see, time immemorial, the living entities were in the Garbha, or in the stomach, in the womb of Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu said, okay, it's time I give all of them an opportunity to reform, to realize, and get back to their constitutional position. What is the spiritual nature? So what Lord did? Lord did the creation. And after creating, Lord gave a very long period of time where everyone can go through all the 84 lakhs of species of birth and experience and conclude that all these 84 lakhs of experiences in different bodies that we have seen in this material world is nothing but the greatest is to take association shelter of the Lord. When one Jivatma concludes that, what Lord says, okay, go back home, go back home. Whoever has concluded, go back home. Whoever has not concluded that, still bewildered by the actions of three modes of material nature, they are the one who go through this Rudra form. When Rudra destroys this entire creation, what happens? All living entities who are manifest in different forms are taken back into the womb of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. So that means, just for calculation purpose, let's say 10,000 living entities were in the womb, Lord manifested, And in 100 years of Brahma's lifetime, let's say 300 or 200 of them got liberated. How? Because they realized. The balance 700 who did not get realized, what happens? Lord puts them back into the womb of Mahavishnu and the unmanifestation happens. Again, during the next cycle of Mahavishnu, that is Karnodakshay Vishnu's breathing cycle, one more anda will be produced, and again Garbhodakshay Vishnu will do the same aspect to help people to realize. So the fact to conclude out of this is, there's nothing except realization what is our constitutional position. All these things that we are seeing is just a temporary illusion, nothing else beyond that. A building will come, will fall down. That's all. The nature is so harsh that it produces different scenarios over a period of time to keep shaking us down. Don't get attached to this. This is not your permanent life. Your permanent life is this. But what we do, we still are not learning it. We're still taking shelter of Maya rather than taking shelter of Yoga Maya. That's our problem. Right? So, do you want to be part of the 300 which got liberated, or do you want to be part of the 700 which went back into the womb of Garbhodaksha Vishnu? Is what at the time of annihilation you have to decide. So better late than never. Take a decision now. Let's all become devotees with pure-heartedness. Purity is the force. If purity is the force is achieved, automatically bhakti will manifest stronger. So, in every aspect of our activity, our behavior, our thoughts, our consciousness, see whether you're in the purest form or you're in an adulterated form. If you keep thinking about that, you will see internal cleanliness, external cleanliness constantly manifest for you. And that is the path for devotion. Always have peace of mind. Do not get into material tribulation. More and more you touch the material nature, more and more she will aggravate you. So try to stay at the minimalistic from the material nature, but try to stay more and more in terms of your consciousness. I'm talking in terms of your consciousness on the platform of spirituality, on the platform of service to Guru and Krishna. That is the only way that you can purify yourself. We can go back home back to Godhead. This sloka is very beautiful actually. Bhagavad Gita 8:19-20. Bhuta gramahas sa evayam bhutva pralayate ratri agame avashapartha prabhavati ahar agame parastasmato bhava anyo avyakto avyaktat sanatanaha yasar sarvabhuteshu nasyatsu na vinashyati. Now look at this. This very brilliant meaning actually. This one. The nature of the material world is that it is first created very nicely, very beautifully. Okay, what is the proof for that? What is the proof that when the creation happens, it's very nice? Proof is very simple. It's there in front of your eyes. You take a small child that is born. The small child which is 6 months old, 1 year old, you see it's so attractive. Its activities are very attractive. You feel like staying with it, liking it. The same, whether it's a kitten, whether it's a tiger cub, whether it's a small bird, it is so attractive. Even a plant, and a plant is so small, it's so attractive. But when it grows into an adult, incorrigible. Whether it's a plant or a human or an animal or whoever it may be. So that's why first creation is very nicely. Then it develops very nicely and stays for a great number of years, even beyond the calculation of great mathematician. But after that, it is again destroyed during the night of Brahma without any resistance. You cannot stop it. Okay. At the end of night of Brahma, it's again manifested as a creation to follow the same principles of maintenance and destruction. So, what is Lord trying to do is, Lord trying to do this creation, maintenance, and destruction in many levels. The first level is at Mahavishnu or Karanodaksha Vishnu. The second level is at Garbhodaksha Vishnu. The another level is at Brahma's level. In Brahma also, every day of Brahma, when he sleeps and he gets down, Again, there's a creation, maintenance, destruction. He does that. Okay. Then between vyuhas, right? For example, you take 1000 Chaturiyas. In that one Chaturya you take, Brahmaji created the yuga time period. And then in Satyuga, it's all very, very hunky-dory, very beautiful, all sattvic, perfect. Slowly deteriorates, and comes to Kali Yuga. The end of Kali Yuga, what happens? Everything is nasty. I mean, you can't even imagine. Almost all aspects of beauty of creation is completely destroyed by the end of that Kali Yuga. Again, Brahmaji, using the sages, he recreates from Kali Yuga back to Satyuga. Whatever exploitation we've done to the nature, like breaking the mountains, destroying the trees, destroying the rivers, oceans, the aquatics, all will be remanifested in Satyuga again. So that's what you can see. You can see different levels of the same creation, maintenance, destruction, creation, maintenance, destruction. Okay. Is that true with Brahmaji? No, it's true with us also. We begin with creation. I'm born, I live for some time, and I die. It is also true with me. So that is the beauty. Not only with me, even the activities that I do, simple thing. You cook something you created and it stays healthy for some period of time, 6 hours, 8 hours, something. And at the end of 8 hours, it again dies, destroys itself, gone. So from the largest portion of creation, maintenance, destruction to the smallest particle, this creation, maintenance, destruction is going on. My point is, realize this truth and come out of this illusion. That's the way the sloka is very great. Okay? Okay, let's go to the next sloka, 44. Itam bhavena katito Bhagavan Bhagavatamaha Nittam bhavena hi param drashtum arhanti suryaha. The great transcendentalist thus describe the activities of Supreme Lord as Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the pure devotees deserve to see more glorious things in transcendence beyond these features. Now comes the two things, right? Go back to your sloka. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. So that is one aspect of the Lord. Then paritranaya sadhanam vinayashaya dushkritam. That is the second aspect of the Lord. What is that? The Lord says, yes, I come millennium after millennium. For what purpose? To reinstate dharma. That means I annihilate the non-devotees or, people who are adharmic. He says that. But the devotees who've taken this path to understand the Lord, to align with the plan of the Lord, to practice devotion, Lord, what is it for us? We are not interested in this creation, maintenance, destruction. We understand it is one of your activity, but we are not interested in that. We want something more nectarian. We want something more that will nourish our heart. These things don't nourish our heart. So Lord said, okay, when I do this cycle of creation, maintenance, destruction, I will myself come in. I will come in different forms, avatars, and I'll perform some amorous pastimes. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, Chaitanya Charitamrita, what pastimes Lord created? Fantastic. The ring of fire that Mahaprabhu created around the chariot of Lord Jagannath, with the 7 parties of Kirtan teams, Lord manifested, expanded, and just, danced around the chariot so fast. Because of his golden molten nature, it looked like a ring of fire from the top. That's what Prataprudha saw. He was stunned. And Jagannath, who was on the chariot, he was bewildered with Mahaprabhu. What did he do? When Mahaprabhu would dance in the front of the chariot, Jagannath would bend down. When Mahaprabhu would dance at the back of the chariot, the Jagannath deity will just go back to see the Lord where he is. See, the Lord Jagannath himself got attracted to Mahaprabhu's pastimes. That are these pastimes. So amorous. Unbelievable. You go to, certain places of pastime in Jagannath Puri even today, right? Mahaprabhu kept his feet, but at that time, Mahaprabhu get into the bhava. Okay? The floor, which is made of solid rock, so strong, it melted to the shape of Mahaprabhu's feet. It still exists. Look at the pastime. There's still certain places inside the Sri Mandir. Mahaprabhu touched that wall and leaned. At that point in time, he went into that Mahabhava state, where intense love of separation with Lord Jagannath, Krishna. At the time, what happened? The hand impression, the leg impression, the leaning impression, all manifested on those places. So the manifestation of the impressions of those on the walls is a description of the Mahabhava state of the consciousness of Lord Chaitanya. Wonderful pastimes. So these pastimes, they nourish the heart of the devotees. Right? Look at this, it says, the Lord is not only created, destroyed, he is different energies. He is more than a simple creator, for there his feature of Ananda, his pleasure feature. This pleasure feature of the Lord is understood by the pure devotees only and not by others. The impersonalist is satisfied simply by understanding all pervasive influence of the Lord. This is called Brahman realization. Greater than the impersonalist is mystic who sees the Lord situated in the heart of Paramatma, the partial representative of the Lord. But there are pure devotees who take for direct pleasure, Ananda potency of the Lord by factual reciprocation of loving service. The Lord is abode is called Vaikuntha planet, which are eternal manifestation, always remains in his devotees and enjoy transcendental loving service by his pure devotees in transcendental humors. So this is what the pure devotees, they see. They experience that. Okay, you may ask a question. Oh, Prabhu, there were lots of people during Ayodhya times, they experienced Lord Ram. There were a lot of people during the time when Krishna came, they experienced, okay, great. Dwarkavasis, Mathuravasis, Vrindavanavasis, Hastinapurvasis, all of them they may saw. And during Chaitanya Mahaprabhu time, people of Jagannath Puri, people of Navadip Dham, people of Vrindavan, they all saw it. But what about us now? So what did the Lord said? I will manifest all these avatars, all these manifestations, they club together. They just join together, they merge together, they are manifest in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. So by reading Srimad Bhagavatam, by meditating on every sloka, by meditating on the Acharya's words, what happens? The same effect, the pure devotee is nourished with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, will manifest in your heart right away in this time. And your hairs on your body will stand. And that's why, Prabhupada writes this great sloka. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavanyaschashmi tattvataha. To mam tattvato nyata vishate tat anantaram. Very beautiful sloka. Right? So he says, look at this, look at the explanation here. Very, very high. Fantastic. He says, by development of pure devotion service, one can factually know the Lord, as he is and thus be trained in bona fide service of the Lord. Be allowed him to enter the direct association of the Lord in so many capacities. So that is the purpose of this life. Now for you, you all crossed all these material aspects, creation, maintenance, destruction, you've all crossed. Now you should now practice to see how I can relish in my heart. What is the aspect of Bhagavatam that I can relish? So that's why you see, Prabhupada talked about, beginning your life with sadhana bhakti or with Vaideka bhakti. Do it so nicely that your attraction, your taste increases so much that there is spontaneous love for Krishna. Spontaneous love to do anything for him. So when we get into that spontaneous love for Krishna, our tickets and passes to Goloka Vrindavan is guaranteed. There's no doubt about it. So how do you do that? Prabhupada said preaching is the essence. You preach more about these things, you get attracted about the Lord. You hear about these things, you get attracted to the Lord. So preaching, reading, hearing. All these three put together, they manifest this nourishment, the transcendental nourishment in the heart of a devotee. This is just the beauty and the secret. So, while you do your services of, let's say, cleaning, dressing the deities, cooking, which will make you personal to the Lord and also increase your humility because you're in the attitude of service, this is what these things happen. Personal relation with the Lord, increasing humility. Services does that. But reading, hearing, and preaching increases the transcendental nourishment in our heart. So, two aspects of bhakti. Your service gets you eligibility to be the recipient of the mercy of the Lord. But while your Shravanam, Kirtanam, and Smaranam helps you to nourish the Lord in your heart. So, when combined together, devotion service just blossoms. And that is the most important aspect. Okay. Now let's go to the next sloka. 45. Nashya karmani janmadav parashyanu vidyate kartritva pratisedhartham mayayo arpitam hitat. There is no direct engineering by the Lord for the creation, destruction, maintenance of the material world. What is described in the Vedas about this direct interference is simply to counteract the idea that material nature is the creator. That's all. So, this sloka is trying to assess that Krishna, he creates secondary elements. For the first secondary element he creates is Brahmaji, the material nature, Maya Shakti, Maya energy, all these things. And he makes them to do it. That's it. So that's how there's no direct engineering level. Okay. Now, why Lord does that? Is just to conclude that fact, because many people say nature is ultimate. They'll say sky is ultimate. So, but that's not ultimate. There is a person behind the sky. There's a person behind this material nature. It is by his plan that these are all activated. Right? So that's the main point in this sloka. So you should understand that the Lord is the primary personality behind everything, Sarva Karana Karana, right? And all others are empowered entities by the Lord so that they can do it. It can be Brahmaji, it can be demigods, it can be material nature, anyone for that matter. Now, beyond that level also, we are also empowered entities. For example, we are empowered in two ways. We are empowered either on the spiritual platform or we are empowered on the material platform. So, for example, if I'm empowered on the material platform, I may become a great businessman. I may become a great doctor. I may become a great engineer. I may become a great lawyer. Very powerful because I'm empowered by material nature. Right? For example, if I'm empowered by spiritual nature, I may become a wonderful speaker. I may become a wonderful acharya. I may become a wonderful pujari. So you see, there are two ways of empowerment, on the spiritual platform, on the material platform. But Prabhupada says, your material empowerment is your karma and destiny. There's no doubt about it. But your spiritual empowerment is something that you can make it happen in your life. And that is the independence that Jiva has. So if you enhance that spiritual empowerment, that means you can become a really great transcendentalist. It's in your hands. So choice of spirituality is ours. Choice of material life is not ours. That's the point here. For example, if a person is making lots of money, it is not that his own effort or intelligence. It is awarded to him. He makes that money. If a person is a beggar, he's been awarded to be a beggar. That is how the influence of material nature is. But for transcendentalists, is a choice that we make. That means by practice of good sadhana, by practice of reading regularly, by practice of thinking about the Lord all the times, we are increasing our spiritual potency. Slowly and slowly and slowly become completely spiritualized. So Prabhupada talked about every living entity should become fully spiritualized. When he becomes spiritualized, he becomes so powerful to influence others. And that is the beauty of spiritual life. So Prabhupada said, take it up. Okay? Is this point very clear?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, very good. So now let's read the next sloka, 10.46. Ayam to brahmanah kalpa savi kalpa udahritah vidihi sadarano yatra sarga prakrita vaikritah. Okay. Now, in that previous sloka, there's one more point that I wanted to mention is the Lord is called Bhakta Vatsala. That means he one who fulfills the desire of the living entities. Okay, so in the sloka we read now, what did we read? The thief developed the desire that he wants to see that blue-colored boy, Krishna, who's wearing a lot of jewels. Because of his search, his want for jewelry, that he kept thinking so much about Krishna, that Krishna manifested. Okay? So now, similarly, in our life, day-to-day life, what are we thinking? If our desire is more on the material activities, oh, I have to do this better, I have to increase this better, I have to do greater business, oh, I like that girl, oh, I like those things, I like that. If we keep on increasing that aspect of our material desire, Lord, in the heart of everyone, what he says, Tatastu, okay, you will get that. And it is more dangerous for devotees. You know why? Because devotees who are still on the borderline, that means they're not purified, but they're not fully material also, they're in the borderline. What happens to them is, when they practice devotion and still a material desire, because they're practicing devotion, there is more empowerment for them. That means their material desire will quickly manifest off strongly. Oh, what is this? I thought that I wanted this material desire so deeply, I immediately got it. So that's the danger. So for devotees, after coming to a certain level of practice, they should be very careful about what they desire. You get the point? They should be very careful about what they desire. If they desire strongly on the material platform, they'll immediately get it because they're doing sadhana. But if they strongly desire spiritual platform, that also they'll get it faster because they're doing sadhana. So that's the power of sadhana, right? So desire very carefully. Do not desire things that will cause harm to you. Okay? Whenever you are in doubt, I don't know how to desire Krishna, go back to him. Offer your prayers. And that's why prayers are very reciprocating. When you offer prayers to Krishna, he reciprocates to give you the direction. Don't desire like this. This is the way you correct yourself and move forward in that path. So that's why prayers are very powerful. Krishna is called Uttama Sloke. So how do you offer prayers? You glorify Lord with slokas that pleases him. And then you express your transcendental desire to him. Krishna will manifest it. Right? And that's how you deal with the Lord. Okay? We'll read this sloka. Translation. This process of creation annihilation described in summary herein is the regulator principle during the duration of Brahma's one day. There is also the regulator principles in the creation of Mahat, in which the material nature is dispersed. Okay, so we can read, you can read this actually. This we've discussed many times about what is Kalpa and what is time duration. It's mainly talked about that. And you can read them, you will understand. So for example, you see 30 Kalpas of Brahma, Shveta Kalpa, Nilakita, Vahamadeva, like that. Different Kalpas are mentioned here, right? So these are Brahmaji's one day. And he lives months to years. So like that, this is more about Brahmaji's life period and time. So you can take time to read this and you will understand. But we've discussed this many times about time duration and things like that. So we'll not spend time. Okay. Okay, so let's go further. Okay. So we'll take sloka 47. Parimanam cha kalasya kalpalakshana vigraham yata purushastat vyakyase padmam kalpam atoshrinu. Translation. O king, I shall in due course explain the measurement of time in its gross and subtle features, with the specific symptoms of each. But for the present, let me explain you onto the Padma Kalpa. Okay. So what is Padma Kalpa alone? We'll learn now. Can someone read the purport?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Read, Mataji.
The present duration of a kalpa of Brahma is called the Varaha Kalpa or Shveta Varaha Kalpa because the incarnation of the Lord as Varaha took place during the creation of Brahma, who was born on the lotus coming out of the abdomen of Vishnu. Therefore, this Varaha Kalpa is also called Padma Kalpa. And
Padma Kalpa.
Prabhu, there is a line on
Yeah, I know. It's still it is referred as Padma Kalpa. It's not referred
Padma,
as Padma Kalpa. Okay.
okay, Padma Kalpa, and this is testified by acharyas like Jiva Goswami as well as Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura in pursuance of the first commentator Swami Sridhara. So there is no contradiction between the Varaha and the Padma Kalpa of Brahma.
Okay. So now the current Kalpa that we are in
Thank you.
is Varaha Kalpa. And what is the Kalpa calculation? 4 yugas is Chaturyuga, and which is also called Divya Yuga. Okay. So 4 yugas together, which is called Chaturyuga, is also called Divya Yuga. When 1,000 of such Divya Yugas are combined together, it becomes one Kalpa, and that is 1 day of Brahmaji. Okay. And like that, 1 night of Brahmaji also exists. 1 night of Brahmaji also, from a time perspective, is equivalent in 1,000 Chaturyugas time duration. Okay. So that means 1 Chaturvyuga is called 1 Divya Yuga. 1 Divya Yuga into 1,000 will give you 1 Kalpa. And the current Kalpa we are in is called Varaha Kalpa because Lord Varaha manifested during this day of Brahmaji. Okay. So that's why it's called Brahmaji or Varaha Kalpa. Now, 1 day into 365 is 1 year. Okay. That means 365 Kalpas is 1 year of Brahma. And Brahma lives for 100 years. That means 365 into 100 is the total duration of the life of Brahmaji, or in terms of understanding time period. That's what it means. Okay, 10.48. Shaunaka uvacha yad ahana bhavam sutta shatta bhagavatotmaha chacharo tirtani bhuvas tvakta bandhun sudastyajan. Shaunaka Rishi, after hearing all about the creation, inquired from Sutta Goswami about Vidura. For Sutta Goswami had previously informed him how Vidura left home, leaving aside all his relatives who were very difficult to leave. Okay. So the pastime here is very simple. In Hastinapur, so there were many tough situations. What is the tough situation? That Vidura was always a propounder of Dharma. But Duryodhana was always a propounder of adharma. So because there was clashes, and the clash happened because of improper management by Dhritarashtra. Vidura will explain Dhritarashtra what it should be the role of a king, what dharma is, how Pandavas need to be protected. Duryodhana, because of his lust and greed, used to always counter-argue with his father about his desire to rule the entire world, Hastinapura to start with. But his father, because of his blood relation is with son, his own blood. No? So, because he was favorable to his son, he did not hear anything from Vidura. But at one point in time, it became very serious. Vidura told that Duryodhana must be killed, otherwise he will cause devastation to the whole world. So once that kind of conversation happened, so Duryodhana told Vidura to get out. He said, I'll spare your life, otherwise I'll kill you. So hence Vidura said, okay, even though my heart is in Hastinapur, one of my main duties is to protect Hastinapur, but I'm unable to do. So at least I'll go in search of transcendental solace. So he left and started to go around. So when he went around, he met Uddhava, and he said, Uddhava, I heard that you had many instructions like the Uddhava Gita from Krishna. So why don't you explain me all those pastimes and things like that? Uddhava said, no, I have a big important responsibility. I need to go to Badrikashrama to deliver Srimad Bhagavatam to all the living entities there, or the sages there. Why? Because Krishna went everywhere to perform his pastime. Even though his duty was there to go to Badrikashrama, he could not. So he sent Uddhava, and he sent his own literature, Srimad Bhagavatam, with Uddhava to Badrikashrama. So please go and read, narrate them. That's why many devotees know they go read Srimad Bhagavatam Hridikashram. Some of them they've taken a role to fully recite 18,000 slokas in Hridikashram also. That level they've gone because that's the place Uddhava recited into Srimad Bhagavatam. So when he asked him, he said, no. One is I have my duty. Secondly, I am very junior to you. I cannot teach you. Okay. Why teach you is very important. Go back to Bhagavad Gita Sloka, 2nd chapter. Krishna says, Shishyasteham sadimam tvam prapannam. Because Arjuna surrendered as a disciple of Krishna, Krishna was able to instruct Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because if you are not in that consciousness of surrender, you cannot hear Bhagavatam. If you always think, oh, I am as good as the preacher, I am as good as this person, you cannot get Bhagavatam in your heart. It will just come into your left ear and go out of your right ear. That is one of the secrets of Bhagavatam. So whenever we hear Bhagavatam, it could be a junior, it could be a senior, it could be a par, whoever it may be, we should hear Bhagavatam as if Vyasadeva was speaking. When can we hear that? Only if we take the position of subservient, a disciple. If we don't take that position, we can never understand Bhagavatam. So this is a great secret of Bhagavatam. So that's why Krishna told that Arjuna, you should become a disciple. I mean, told meaning he manifested in his heart. So Arjuna understood. He said, Sishyasteham sadimam tu prapan. He said, I surrender to you as a Shishya. Gita was spoken. So here now, Uddhava is telling, hey, how you can, you are so elderly, so you are already a realized soul, you are a Mahatma. How I can ask you to surrender? I can't ask you to surrender, impossible. So better you hear from someone who's senior. And he told, at the time when I heard from Krishna, Maitreya Rishi was also present, he also heard. So you better hear from him. So Vidura was redirected to hear from Maitreya Rishi. That's how this entire pastime manifested. Okay. So hence he says, the Rishi said it by Shaunaka, more anxious about Vidura, who met Maitreya Rishi while traveling to the pilgrimage sites of the world. Right? So now, subsequent conversations will be, what did Vidura ask questions to Maitreya, and what did Maitreya, great realized soul, explain to Vidura? And that's how we get into the conversation between Maitreya Rishi and Vidura for the subsequent conversations. Okay? Is this clear? Now why this is coming now? Okay. Let's read the next sloka, 49-50. Shattuhu kausharavestasya samvado adhyatma samshritaha yadvasa bhagavams tasmai pristastatvam uvachaha bruginas tad idam saumya vidurasya vichesitam bandhutyaga nimittam cha yata yatai vagatavam punaha. Shaunak said, let us know please what topics were discussed between Vidura and Maitreya, who talked on transcendental subjects, and what was inquired by Vidura and replied Maitreya. So again, see the conversations. Now, so far the conversation was between Shaunaka Rishis. He was heading the 10,000 sages at Naimisharanya, asking question to Sutta Goswami. And what did they explain? What Sutta Goswami explained? He explained the conversation that happened between Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit. And what did Parikshit heard from Sukadeva Goswami was nothing but the conversations explained at various time points in time. For example, at one point in time, what did Brahmaji explain Naradaji? So like that, all parallels of conversation, explanation is what we are hearing. Now we're going to hear Vidura and Maitreya conversation. Also, please let us know the reason for Vidura's giving up the connection with his family members and why he again came home. That is very important. Please also let us know the activities of Vidura while he was in the places of pilgrimage. That means he was on Yatra now. So what happened in Yatra? What all he did do with Vidura? So that means we're going to learn three things. First, why did Vidura come out? Second, what was the conversation between Vidura and Maitreya? And third, after hearing all these things, even though Vidura was thrown out of Hastinapur, why did he still go back? Is he not shameful? Why did he still go back? And what are the things that Vidura did during these places of pilgrimage? Since Vidura is none other than Yamaraj, and who is a great Mahatma, it is important to hear about this aspect of this pastime. Okay, so that's this sloka all about. Okay, then so comes to the last part of this one. Why did Vidrag went back to Hastinapur? So after he realized, when he heard about activities and the instructions of the Lord, Vidra realized, I have one responsibility. That is to at least to somehow help my brother Dhritarashtra, who's blindfolded. And I don't want him to leave into ignorance. So out of great compassion that Vidra had for my Dhritarashtra, he went back and pulled him out of that strong material attachment and lust and took him to Haridwar. There, he did not teach him Bhakti Yoga, because to teach Bhakti Yoga, what was the one criteria that we talked about? The purity of the heart. But Dhritarashtra could not have the purity of the heart, and there is no understanding of the personality of God. It is impossible. It is impossible to do PhD straight away from first standard. Not possible. So what did he teach? He taught him impersonal Brahman. I think you can step by step move. Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam jnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdayate. That means step by step you migrate. Impersonal Brahman to Paramatma to Bhagavan. So hence he taught him that, and then he and his wife deep meditation, he was able to invoke fire in his body, and he got completely burnt, and he understood the impersonal Brahman. I am sure Dhritarashtra in his subsequent births would have realized Paramatma, and he would have realized Bhagavan also, and probably gone back home. Okay. 51. Sutta Vacha. Rajna Parikshito Prishto Yad Avochan Mahamunihi Tadvo Abhidashye Shrunuta Rajnaha Parasnano Sarataha. Sri Sutta Goswami explained, I shall now explain to you the very subjects explained by the great sages in answer to King Parikshit's inquiries. Please hear them attentively. Okay. So now Prabhupada here in the sloka is explaining about the parampara system. The parampara system is very important is because you see Sutta Goswami or Shaunaka Rishi or Parikshit or Sukadeva Goswami or Narada Ji or Brahma Ji or Vidura or Maitreya or Uddhava, none of these people, they concocted the stories or whatever their mind talked about. No. It's a descended form. Krishna taught Brahmaji the entire truth about this creation, maintenance, and destruction, Srimad Bhagavatham, the Veda Shastra, everything. Brahmaji taught his disciple Narada. Narada taught his disciple Vedavyasa. Vedavyasa taught his son Sukadeva. Sukadeva taught his disciple Parikshit. So like that you see, it comes, and whatever Sukadeva and Parikshit heard, Sukadeva's another disciple, Sutta Goswami, is hearing that and then reciting this. So you see, there is a flow. It's called waterfall method. Waterfall means what? Water falls from a higher altitude to a lower altitude. So like that, knowledge is falling from a higher altitude to a lower altitude. Higher altitude is Krishna. From Krishna, it's coming through descendant, coming here. So that's why parampara is very, very important. So when we hear from our spiritual master, we can see our spiritual master is a bona fide parampara. Hence, that same knowledge without any adulteration is there. Okay. Moment a particular person adulterates this, what Krishna has to say? Krishna says, Evam parampara praptim imam rajatsa yovidugu sa kale nega mata yoga nashta parantapa. He has to say, oh, somewhere it got lost, Arjuna, I have to come back again. Again, Krishna and Arjuna, samvada will happen. Again, they will come and reinstate this entire knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So that's why, as a rule, that we should have, whatever we speak should be as it is. And we should follow the parampara. We should follow our authorities. We should follow the learned scriptures as it is. So hence, you should make three things very, very solid. Whatever you speak must be from the Shastra. Is it in the Shastra? Yes. Second, whatever you speak must also be repeated by the Acharya or the Guru. Okay. Third, is it being practiced by a devotee? Have you seen personally? Yes. So hence, all these things must be validated and then you should speak. If certain concepts are not validated, you should not speak, because we are a parampara who's called as it is parampara. The best example I can give you is my personal realization, is singing Tulsi Arati. One day I was singing Tulsi Arati by saying Vrindaya Tulsi Devi Priya Keshavacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavatayani. Radhesham Prabhu was there. After the program was all completed, we had a private conversation at that time. He said, Prabhu, you said Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi. Where is it written, such a sloka, Prabhu? You show me, he asked. I took the Vrindaya Tulsi Deva Pranama and then I read it. There it was written Vishnu Bhakti. See, Vishnu Bhakti is written, but he's saying Krishna Bhakti. He said, why? I was silent. He said, we are as it is parampara. We don't change. You may have love for Krishna than Vishnu. That does not matter. But we are as it is parampara. We don't change. The manifestation of Tulsi through the pastime of Vishnu is the purpose. You cannot change that pastime because you are more Krishna conscious. So go back, retrace. So that was a great lesson he taught me that day. Then I realized, oh my God, I should be very careful in whatever we speak, examples we quote. That's why we keep repeating what our Acharya said. So Prabhupada did the same thing. What did he do? All his purpose is not just his realization, it is a compilation of the Acharyas like Jiva Goswami, like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura, Sridhar Swami. So like that, he took Acharya's various purports and then he combined together and gave us a purport. Very simple. That's what he did. So if Sridhar Swami wrote 10 pages for a particular sloka, Prabhupada took the extracts out of it and gave it into one paragraph. That's the beauty. So hence, follow that system. And that's what Sudha Goswami is explaining. Okay. Okay. So that ends Canto 2. For us to complete Canto 2 on a successful basis, on a continuous basis, is only by the empowerment of the Guru and Krishna. Okay. Thus in the Bhaktivedanta purport of second canto, 10th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Bhagavatam is answers to all questions. Okay, end of second canto. So by the mercy of our acharyas, mercy of the devotees, and our practice of sadhana, we were able to complete second canto. I hope we have done justice. I'm hoping and offering prayers that if at all I made any mistakes in interpreting something in the wrong manner, I beg forgiveness. And with this, with greater consciousness, let's move to the third canto. Okay. So from next week onwards, we'll begin third canto. And I pray that we will be able to speak the right words, speak the right consciousness in the third canto, and help us understand this in greater depth. Okay. Yes, Rajashri Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for the wonderful classes. Prabhuji, you had told me to remind you towards the end of second canto, I had requested that you take some classes on Brihad Bhagavatamrita.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot, Mataji. Okay, so we'll do. I will call you after the class. Let's see what your expectation is. It's a very beautiful subject, and we'll see whether we can, how long we should do, how short we can do. We will see that, and we can have some compatibility, and then we'll do something. Okay.
Sure. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. That's fine.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam Prabhu. Thank you for the wonderful class. Prabhu, while you were talking about the Navavida Bhakti, you used the word addressing to the Lord, Prabhu.
Mhm.
So what do you actually mean by saying addressing? What is the activity you're doing during that process of addressing to the Lord means, Prabhu?
Okay, so we all go to yatra, for example, or we go to some temple, right? You going to your home temple, which your ISKCON Cultural Center, that is one aspect. I'm talking about you generally go to some yatra, some temples. Okay. Now let's say we went to Gundija temple. in
Okay.
Jagannath. Okay,
Mm.
you saw the Lord, beautiful Lord of Jagannath there. Okay, what do you do when you see him?
Wow, so nice you are. We
Huh.
express.
Yeah, we don't immediately go and say, "Oh, Krishna, I'm having financial problems. I don't have children. Oh, I have this, I have that problem. Please help me solve." We don't do that. That's not the way.
Mm.
What we do,
Mm.
we take great slokas from Bhagavatam. You
Mm.
start with Dharma Projita Kaitavo Atra Paramo, like that. Oh, Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha. You say Barhapitam Natavarabapu. Like that, you take different slokas of Krishna and glorify him. Krishna, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. You glorify that.
Okay.
When you do that, Lord is very pleased with you.
Okay.
If at all, it does not disturb him. Use that word. If at all, Krishna, it doesn't disturb you.
Mm.
At all, it is okay.
Mm.
You can award me these things. Then you can ask that. So this is the difference I'm telling about addressing the Lord.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you
Okay.
so much, Prabhu. Hare
So,
Krishna.
how do you address the Lord? Go, take a collection of 25 slokas. Understand their meaning. With the meaning running in your mind, your mouth will speak those words.
Okay.
Do that.
Okay.
That's the way you do it. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Dandat Pranam.
Yes, Mother. Any other questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Yes, Prabhu.
You said devotees are the cat on the wall, the
Hare
material
Krishna,
desire or
Prabhu.
spiritual desires.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody speaking, Prabhu?
You finish your question. Huh?
Okay. So our desire should be of spiritual desires, and you can speak to the Lord. You can that way you are telling some message.
I'm not speaking to the Lord
Ah.
because you're
Or
doing
praying to the Lord. Sorry, praying to the Lord.
praying to the Lord is because you're doing sadhana, and because you're doing sadhana, the Lord is pleased with you and He'll award you. Now, what He'll award you?
Based on
Whether
our desire.
if you have a desire to be a president of a country, or you have a desire to be a servant of the Lord, what He wants to award you because you're doing sadhana.
Servant of the Lord. That should be our desire.
Okay, but if your desire is, I want to become the next chief minister, Lord say, oh, you're doing sadhana, you're asking for this, okay, tatastu. So desire wisely.
Desire wisely. Okay.
Yeah, that's the point.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay, there's one Mataji by name Gayatri.
Gayatri Mata.
Question. T Gayatri.
ஹரே
Gayatri.
கிருஷ்ண பிரபு.
Yes, Mataji.
பிரபு, எனக்கு தமிழ் வரும், இங்கிலீஷும் சரியா புரிஞ்சிக்க மாட்டேன். அதனால தமிழ்ல எதனா சொல்ல முடியுமா இல்லாட்டி இங்கிலீஷ்?
இப்போ காயத்ரி மேடம் இப்போ இந்த கிளாஸ்ல பாத்தீங்கன்னா கன்னடா பீப்புள் இருக்காங்க, ஹிந்தி பீப்புள் இருக்காங்க, தெலுங்கு பீப்புள் இருக்காங்க, தமிழ் பீப்புள் இருக்காங்க. இப்போ எல்லா பாஷையிலும் நம்மளால ஒரு கிளாஸ் சொல்ல முடியாது, ரொம்ப கஷ்டம் அது. அதனால எல்லாருக்கும் தெரிஞ்ச பாஷைன்ட்டு இங்கிலீஷ்ல சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கோம். ஓகே,
நான் புரிஞ்சுக்க மாட்டாது, அது ரிப்பீட் நான் பேச முடியாது.
இப்போ உங்களுக்கு நீங்க கிளாஸ்ல என்ன புரியுமோ புரிஞ்சுக்கோங்க. அப்புறம் அந்த புக் எடுத்து பர்பட்ட படிங்க, தமிழ்லயே படிங்க. படிச்சுட்டு எதெல்லாம் உங்களுக்கு புரியலையோ அதெல்லாம் எனக்கு வாட்ஸ்அப்ல மெசேஜ் எழுதுங்க, நான் உங்களுக்கு ஆன்சர் சொல்றேன். அப்போ என்னென்ன டவுட்ஸ் உங்களுக்கு புரியலையோ அதெல்லாம் நீங்க நிறைய தெரிவிச்சுக்கலாம்.
சரி பிரபு. பிரபு, எனக்கு ஒரே மூதே வலிக்குது. ஜபமாலை பண்ணா கூட ஒரே அதே ஆவலிங் பண்ண சொல்லுவாங்களே, ஒரே டயர்டா மாதிரி அப்படி இருக்கும். அதே என்னத்துக்கு பிரபு?
சரி, இப்போ நீங்க இந்த கொஸ்டின் எனக்கு செப்பரேட்டா கேளுங்க. இப்போ நம்ம என்ன படிச்சோமோ அது கனெக்டடா கொஸ்டின் கேட்டீங்கன்னா இப்ப ஆன்சர் கொடுக்கலாம். ஓகே,
சரிங்க. அது பிரபு உங்களோட சம்பிரதாயம் எந்த நம்பர் பிரபு?
இதே நம்பர் தான், வாட்ஸ்அப். இந்த குரூப் போனீங்கன்னா என் பேருக்கு பாருங்க, சுந்தரூப் ஷாம்தாஸ்.
ஓகே பிரபு, நான் இது கேட்டதுக்கு என்ன மன்னிக்கணும்.
மன்னிப்பெல்லாம் தேவையில்லை, நீங்க கேட்டது தப்பே இல்லை. ஐம் ஜஸ்ட் கிளாரிஃபை பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன். ஓகே
ஓகே ஓகே பிரபு. Hare
Thank
Krishna,
you.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhu, you said after finishing second canto about Narada Muni, you will be asking us to prepare some whatever we understood from
Prabhuji.
Assignments. So I have to sit on the assignment questions. I will try to do something next week. Give me about a couple of weeks. I'll prepare the assignments. Then I'll publish it so all of you can take it and do it. Okay.
Thank you. Right. Thanks for the wonderful class.
Okay. Okay. I hope everyone benefited out of today's association. I personally benefited out of all your association. Thank you so much. Grandaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gurudev ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Vaishnava Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Thank you,
Om
Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Handot
Thank you,
Pranam. Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam.
Dandot Pranam Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank
you, Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Dandot.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandot Pranam.
Hare Krishna Dandot.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Swamiji.
Dandot. Hare Krishna Prabhu. All glories to you.
All glories to you, Prabhu. All glories to your service.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandot Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We'll end the class here today.